It's April 21st, 1985. The Portuguese Grand Prix is underway, and a young Brazilian driver has already turned heads by taking pole position on Saturday in qualifying. The rain is relentless during the race, turning Estoril into a treacherous waterlogged circuit, but as others struggled just to stay on track, that young driver that started on pole, he remains composed during the race, masterfully handling the conditions from start to finish. He led every single lap that day, started on pole, and won the race. This isn't just a maiden victory for a new driver. It's a statement, a warning to the rest of the grid. This is Ayrton Senna.
Lotus, 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 72, Lotus, 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 72, é máquina do tempo e na velocidade não tem igual. E num grande torneio de caráter internacional de Fórmula 1.
Let's turn back the clock to June 3rd, 1984, the Monaco Grand Prix. Ayrton, a rookie in the underdog Toleman, qualified 13th out of 25 places. On paper, it was nothing remarkable, but then came the rain, and with it, one of the most unforgettable drives in Formula One history. As the streets of Monte Carlo turned treacherous, top drivers like Nigel Mansell, Niki Lauda, and Nelson Piquet fell victim to the conditions. Senna, meanwhile, was thriving. Lap after lap, he carved through the field with astonishing precision, climbing to second place and closing rapidly on race leader Alain Prost. Set the fastest lap of the race and looked poised to take the lead when, controversially, the race was red flagged and not restarted, handing the win to Alain Prost and handing P2 to a young Ayrton Senna. Let's skip a few years to 1989, October 22nd, in Suzuka, Japan, the penultimate round for the Formula One World Championship. Ayrton Senna and Alain Prost, teammates turned rivals, have been battling this championship for the entire season. And this race, they've lined up second and first on the grid. For 46 laps, they have run nose to tail, P1 and P2, locked in a battle that is as much mental as mechanical. Then at the final chicane, Senna tries to make his move, a bold dive bomb down the inside. However, Prost had turned in, and they had collided. Prost has DNF'd from the race. Senna had restarted, though, rejoining the track through an access road. He fights back, crosses the line, P1. However, immediately as the race had ended, the stewards had stepped in and handed him a black flag, disqualifying him from the race for re-entering the track illegally. The win had been taken away, and so had the chances at a title. Granted, he would not have won it, as in the last race at the Adelaide Street Circuit in Australia, he wouldn't finish and would DNF. It's 1992 at the Circuit de Spa-Francorchamps, and it is free practice for the Belgian Grand Prix. Eric Comas, a young driver for Ligier, loses control coming out of Blanchimont, one of the fastest corners in Formula One at that time. He crashes violently at over 300 kilometers per hour. The impact is brutal. The car is absolutely destroyed. He was knocked unconscious, and his foot was still on the throttle. The engine would be revving at over 13,000 RPMs. Ayrton is the first to see the wreck. He would stop his car, run across the track, and reach into the wreckage to turn the engine off. No marshals, no medical team, only Ayrton was there. That split-second decision most likely saved Comas' life, Had the engine kept running, the car could have ignited into flames. It's May 1st, 1994, qualifying for the San Marino Grand Prix. If you know the slightest thing about motorsports, you know the events that happened this weekend. On Saturday, during qualifying, Roland Ratzenberger would crash at high speed. His front wing had failed and gone under the car, which made him hit the wall at over 300 kilometers per hour. The impact would be fatal and could have gone up to 500 G-forces. The next day, on May 2nd, Senna started on pole position, and in his pocket he carried an Austrian flag as tribute for the Austrian racer that he would wave when the race ended. But the race would never end for Senna that day, as on lap 7, Senna's steering column would break through Tamburello, one of the most treacherous corners on track that would already make Rubens Barrichello have to withdraw from the race for injuries, as he would crash hard into the barriers in a practice session on April 29th. He would try braking, however, it would be too late at that point. He would hit the wall hard, which would take his life instantly. Eric Comas would go out onto the track under red flag conditions soon after the wreck and would withdraw from the race and retire from Grand Prix racing after seeing Senna's accident. Ayrton would never wave the flag that race. Ending on a rather sad note with that, my apologies if there were any inaccuracies, as this video was pretty rushed and was only made in like a day and a half. So, yeah, see you in the next one.